Hey, Virginia. So one of the things that people might not know about the Bishop is that we do have animals besides manatees. And that's what we're going to be watching you do today. So who are you working with today?
Well, we also have 4 freshwater turtles here. They're called Yellow-Bellied Sliders. And the turtles arrived here in October when we opened the MBU, the Mosaic Backyard Universe. We have a pond in there. It's supposed to be your backyard. So what we wanted to do was have some other animals in there that could live in that space and live comfortably, live in water, and that people would feel like, oh, this is familiar to me. I see these animals in my own backyard, and you do. Any pond you go by, the most common little thing you'll see, or even out in some brackish water too, a little turtle head popping up out of the water. That's most of the time what you see. And that's what you can see when you go to the MBU and see our turtles there too. So we have 4 of them, and we consider the health of all our animals here very important. So for manatees to our turtles, treatment exactly the same. So these guys get weighed, and we measure their shells. We want to make sure they've got good growth going on and that they're healthy, and we take a look at them when and that's usually right now about once a month. So we're doing it more often, but everybody's growing really well, and we can cut it back a little bit, and then we don't have to handle them so much. So some of them don't mind it, and some of them are not thrilled with it. So we want to be considerate of our little turtle friends. So today we're going to weigh all 4, and we're going to start with that. I have our scale set up. These are tiny, they're small, so they weigh in grams right now, tiny little guys. And the first one we're going to weigh is, this is Queel. Queel's a little yellow-bellied slider, and Sam's going to put Queel on the scale, and we're going to hope, they like to move around, so you can just let go and we'll see. There you go.
Oh yeah, they're
so,
anxious to get back into their
so put
enclosure.
down, I got 4.1, but we'll do it one more time since they move around a little. Go ahead and just let go. There you go. So 4.1. So Queel's 4.1 grams, and then what we do is just take our tape measure and we measure their carapace, so just from end to end for growth. And these turtles, probably adult size, get to 8 to maybe 12 inches.
Okay.
12's a little big for them. I think the yellow-bellied sliders get to about 10 inches. So females are usually a little larger than the males.
Gotcha.
So we're going to go ahead and take a little measurement. And we have just under 4 inches, so about 3.5. So Queel's at about 3.5 inches.
And how did each of them get their names? Did they come with that name when you got them, or did you guys name them once they got here?
Yeah, 2 of the turtles I did get from someone who had them as pets but wasn't able to keep them anymore, and that can be common with turtles. And fortunately, she was really happy to be able to give them to the museum here at the Bishop, that she knew they'd have a good home here, and they really do. They have quite the life. And that's something that happens with turtles a lot, is they're a big part of the pet trade, and they're not as easy as people think to take care of. There's a lot of work that goes into them, so we want to be sure to give that message that if you end up with a pet turtle, that you read a lot about it and realize there's so many things that the animal needs, like proper diet for growth. They need heat and they need sunshine for proper growth. So there's a lot of things that go into it. Sometimes a cat or a dog makes your better pet at home rather than an exotic.
Yeah, you and I have talked a few times about how turtles do not make good pets.
Yeah.
So you really have to have specialized knowledge and specialized accommodations, really, to provide a really good home for turtles.
Yeah, turtles live in the water, so you want to have some place that you can put them in a big enough space for them too.
With lots of sunshine, as you said.
Yeah.
Okay, who's up next?
This is Fred. So Fred's bigger. I'm gonna have to reset our scale.
Now, is Fred older than Queel?
Yes.
Okay.
And you mentioned names. So Fred and Queel came with their names. We changed Queel a little bit. And if you're a Star Wars fan watching The Mandalorian right now, you might recognize the name Queel. So it was Queel. Hold on and see if we can get the best weight we can get. I'm going to do this. I'm gonna change this up a little bit. Now that they're getting bigger and they're moving a little bit more, I'm gonna try to put a little something that maybe keeps them, takes a little attraction away. Let me re-tear. Okay, see if that helps a little.
Oh, that helped a lot.
Yeah. Let's get her centered a little bit. I'm gonna take her. Just put it down. Hang on, Fred. We may be graduating to a bigger box. There we go. 16.7.
And that's 16.7 grams, you said, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we'll measure shell. So you can bring her on back and measure her shell. And we have all these weights and measurements for a while now, so we're just keeping track.
And so you called Fred a her.
6.
So Fred is a female?
No, Fred's a male, sorry.
Oh, okay.
I think we're going to be graduating to something bigger for these guys. Scale probably still works, but we're going to need a little more containment.
Okay.
That's what we learn as they get older. And we adjust things to work for them.
And so what do the turtles eat, Virginia?
Right now, they eat quite a variety. So here comes another turtle. This is big.
Okay.
And we may try big. I'm going to pull out our other scale. We may end up trying big on the other scale and seeing where she's at.
Yeah.
Because they're all getting pretty big. This may just be a Queel only scale.
Okay.
They eat a variety. So as they get older, they become a little more herbivorous and eat plants, but when they're younger, they eat a little more protein. So they get insects, they get fish, they'll get some plants. We actually have a beautiful garden outside the MBU, and we can give them some of the leaves from some of the Brussels sprouts or some collards that are out there, and that stuff's really good, very nutritious for turtles.
Okay.
A lot of vitamin A, something that they really need for good health. So why don't we try and put up here? So they eat right now a couple of times a day. They do get a processed turtle diet too. That's your common turtle stick. Ooh, nice. So 1.1 pound.
Wow, big. Way to go. She's really growing.
And big is, we believe, a female. I'll show you a couple of things about them. Males and females have different length in their nails.
Okay.
So when we see Little, who's going to be up next, you'll see the difference in the nail length. And that's one of the ways you can tell, because the males mount females for breeding, and so they need longer nails to grab onto the females.
Gotcha. All right.
So that's what we're going with right now. And they also have a little difference in their tails too.
Okay.
So we're looking at those physical characteristics of them to determine their gender.
All right.
So, Sam, now we'll bring out Little, and we'll try Little on the big scale too. Oh yeah, shell measurement, thank you. And big is now like 6 1/4.
And so we've had the turtles since late last year, right? Probably September?
Yeah, we got the turtles before we opened the MBU so they could get accustomed to their new environment.
Sure.
And we could get to know them and just get them settled in. You always want to do that before you get a new animal in, or before you open up a new exhibit. Just let the animals get settled and they're comfortable in their new environment. So when we have guests come in, that they're used to that already. Here comes Little, last turtle. You want to read underneath? I can watch. I'll watch up here. I'll start all the way over here. 0.7 pounds. So that's Little. And then we talked about the nails of males and females. So look at those. Those are really long.
Oh yeah, so Little must be a male then.
Yes.
Okay. Wow, yeah, big difference.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And Little and big we've had for a while now, we've handled a lot. So they're a little bitter about us picking them up, but
Yeah.
they still move quite a bit. And there's no need for us to handle the turtles all the time. So we let them do their turtle thing.
Yeah, they're not really, they're not cuddlers, are they? They just really want to do their own thing.
Yeah. So we're good with that.
Yeah. And so why did you guys want to have Yellow-Bellied Sliders in the Mosaic Backyard universe? Why was that important for you?
Well, we wanted to show a native Florida turtle, and these guys are a little more northern Florida. We're starting to see them more, there's been definitely turtles found in Hillsborough County and areas around here, because sometimes when people get them as pets, they release them, and so they think that they're moving down here a little bit more because of the pet trade that they have done. If they're not working out in the home, sometimes people just release the animals. We know that happens, and Florida struggles with that a little bit because so many animals, reptiles, do well here because of the climate. So it ends up that many of those animals get released. And the two animals that I ended up getting, Fred and Queel, that belonged to someone as pets who couldn't keep them anymore, she put them on a website that is trying to find homes for reptiles that people can't keep anymore. So they're doing a really good job in doing that, and I was able to take those from her so people have options. It's a nice little website that sends out notices when new animals are up for adoption. So they're trying to help those animals get placed in homes.
So rather, if people did have a reptile as a pet and they don't want it anymore, rather than setting it free, what is the responsible thing to do for it? It's listed on this website?
Yeah, it's called rescueme.org, and it's a reptile website, and they find homes for reptiles that need, just like any adoption for your cat or your dog too. So they do that for reptiles, which is a great thing to have that out there. And then they get placed somewhere. And I do know that FWC once a year, I'm pretty sure it's once a year, has an amnesty day too, where you can bring your exotic reptile to them, and they'll also find homes for them from there too if you're no longer able to keep it, rather than having people release them in Florida.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, and so the Yellow-Bellied Sliders are just being able to show our guests some native species. That's what I think we're thinking of the backyard universe as everybody's backyard. It doesn't just have to be Florida, but we are in Florida, so we want to give that little educational note there to our guests too about what lives here. And there are a few species, and there are also some invasive species, so we didn't necessarily want to display those animals because those invasives are animals that end up here because of maybe the pet trade and people are releasing them, and one of those is the red-eared slider. So we were trying to stick with something native.
Yeah. And so tell me about the difference between sea turtles, which in Florida everybody knows about sea turtles, right? We've got a really well-known story for many people. So the difference between sea turtles and freshwater turtles, which are like what yellow-bellied sliders are.
Yeah, obviously sea turtles are, everyone knows, bigger. They're bigger turtles. They live out in a more marine environment, although a lot of our turtles can do some brackish water too. But freshwater turtles live in ponds. They live near shore. They live in any pond you drive by on the road when you see those little heads pop up. And smaller, don't grow as big, don't live as deep, and definitely have different diet. But all of those marine turtles can have a different diet too. But there are species in Florida that are threatened or are under protection. And those are alligator snapping turtles and Swanee cooters. The cooter is a turtle you'd see out there and doesn't get very big, handsome little turtle, but definitely part of the illegal trade of turtles and for food or for pets, that it's damaging to those animals too. So they're the same as marine turtles in that there are a lot of freshwater turtles that need help too, that are having trouble out there, and Florida's got some of them too.
Yeah. Well, that's great. Thank you for sharing with us the story of our 4 yellow-bellied slider turtles. And if there's one thing that you want people to know about turtles, what's the one thing?
That if you see them crossing the road and you see them on the side of the road, don't endanger your own life, but if you see them about to go out on the road, help a turtle out and pick them up. When you're done, just wash your hands. Do be careful. There are some turtles that have big long necks that can reach around and bite you, but they're only going to go out and get hit by a car. So if you see one that's going to get into some trouble, if you can stop and help it out, that's a great thing, but obviously don't endanger yourself. And it is safe to pick them up, but know that they're a wild animal too. So you just want to be careful about where your hands are and getting them. But you have a towel in your car, wrap the turtle. And then most of the time, it's believed that when turtles are walking across the road, they're doing that for a purpose. So if you pick them up and put them right back where you found them, they might turn around and go back again. So if you're able to put them off on the other side of the road, the direction they were headed, that's probably better. And then one more thing that's important too is we have land turtles and we have freshwater and we have water turtles. Your land turtles, your gopher tortoises, do not put them in the water. Those guys have big club feet. They don't have little swimming fin legs like you see on the turtles. You've got a good close-up of their feet. Those guys swim. Gopher tortoises do not swim. So if you find a gopher tortoise in the road, just put them back on the land and don't put them in the water. They cannot breathe underwater.
Gotcha. Well, thank you very much for giving us a little get-to-know-you session with the turtles.
Yeah.
Some more good animal stories coming out of the Bishop Museum of Science and Nature. Lots of good work going on here while we're temporarily closed. So thanks for the tour.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for coming.
And so you're putting Queel and Fred in this outdoor pool right now, right?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, look at him.
They are shy.
Yeah.
This is their favorite piece to hide under.
Oh, yeah. So that gives them some good shelter.
Yeah.
Sure.
And you can imagine Queel being as small as it is, that it can be. You want to watch out for your life when you're a wild turtle.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
That doesn't change here. They still think they need to be safe and be protected and want cover. So now we're giving them a little bit of food.
Okay.
Sam, you can tell them what we got in our cup.
Okay, so we have a little bit of tilapia. Try to angle it so both of them can get to it. We've got some growth pellets here, especially for Queel. Queel, so tiny. And then they've also got some multivitamins.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, that are kind of it's a powder, mixes in with their food.
And
We've got Fred right here.
Oh, yeah. Fred's chowing down.
And then Queel's coming up right on the other side.
Oh, there he is. Yep. Hi, buddy. You want to get some food? You can get it.
just and then
Oh, and here is, who's this one, Virginia?
this is Big. I'm gonna put her in the pool.
Okay. And so we have a couple different pools for the turtles here, don't we?
Yeah.
And this is besides what we have in the Mosaic Backyard Universe for them. This is their outdoor area.
Yep. We want to make sure they get outside and get some natural sunlight. We do have UV lights for them, and they need heat. So we have heat lamps with them too, and the heat helps them absorb their UV for good health.
Sure.
But we like to put them outside too, because that's normal, and they can sun themselves out here. It's a great spot for them. So we have indoor and outdoor pools. This one's about 300 gallons, the other one's about 50 gallons, and then our indoor pool's about 400 gallons.
Okay, so they've got lots of room to spread out.
Yep. We like to keep it natural for them, so they'll normally hide in plants and
Sure.
have logs to float on and sit on and haul out on. So we want to give them all those things.
Well, you guys are doing some great work taking care of these guys.
Thanks.
And we know it's something that you really enjoy too. I can tell that every time I see you with these animals, that you guys are just taking such excellent care of them.
We care about everybody.
Yeah, for sure. Manatees and turtles, right?
That's right.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah, bye-bye.